Everyone, welcome to S for Science. I'm Sharanya Rajesh. Today's our topic is nervous tissue. Nervous tissue, we have learned about epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue. The last type of animal tissue, that's actually the nervous tissue, which is actually forming the nervous system, right? So it actually makes the nervous system, the entire nervous system we are having. In our nervous system, that's actually this brain and all the spinal cord and the spinal nerves and the cranial nerves. That means the nerves coming from brain and spinal cord or brain or spinal cord. ये सारी चीज मिलकर हमारे nervous system बनाती है, right? So that what are the things? Brain will be there, spinal cord will be there. Brain से जो आ रही है वो nerves, that's called cranial nerves, and spine से जो आ रही है वो nerves, that's called the spinal nerves. So these all together forms the nervous system. So which is the basic unit of that nervous system? It's actually the nervous tissue, right? If you are going in detail of that, nervous tissue ka the basic unit, the cell, which is called the neuron, or you can say the nerve cell, right? So this is the tissue. The tissue will be formed from lots of nerve cells, or simply you can say that is the neuron, right? So where it present? Obviously I told you it is making the nervous tissue, right? So it will present in brain, spinal cord, etc., right? And what is the structure of this neuron? That we have to learn first, right? The structure of neuron, here I have already drawn the picture. I will explain like that. You can see here in the structure of neuron, it is the longest cell in our body, right? Because sometimes it can be a typical neuron can be meters long, or it can be small also, but it can be meters, sometimes meters long. So it is considered as the longest cell in our body, right? So here there will, like all other cell, it will have a nucleus. Center nucleus will be there, cytoplasm will be there, and this all together we will name it as cell body, or it is called cytone. Cell body or cytone, right? Now from this cell body or cytone, there are numerous finger-like or hair-like projections are coming, right? Which is called dendrites. Actually, these portions are called dendrons. Then the finer branches are called dendrites. But in your NCERT, it's actually given, it is dendrites. So anyway, you can go for that. The fine-like projections or finger-like or hair-like projections arising from the cell body, they are called the dendrites, right? And there will be a long projection. That means somewhat, these all are fine finger-like projection. There is a long extension which is coming from the cytone or the cell body. That is called the axon. So this is the long projection, the longest projection, right? What we have discussed, there is a cell body, right? That's called the cytone, in which the nucleus and cytoplasm is there, and there will be numerous hair-like or finger-like structure which is arising from the cell body or cytone. That's called the dendrites, right? I told you it's actually the dendrons. Then from dendron, the finer branches are called dendrites. But in your NCERT, it's directly given dendrites, so you can go for that, right? So now the longest extension, finger-like projection, there are so many, right? तो उसमें से सबसे बड़ा lengthy, right? Long finger-like projection हम बोलते हैं axon, right? The long extension from the cell body or the cytone, that's called the axon, right? And this axon will again branches into finer branches, and these branches are called the nerve endings. Nerve endings. What is it called? It is called the nerve endings, right? I already told you it can be meters long, right? And one more thing you have to remember, in some neuron, not all neurons, they have a special covering for this axons. You can see there will be special covering. It's not continuous, it's actually having small gap in them. These coverings are called the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath. Sheath not, it's sheath. Myelin sheath. Right. And this total structure is myelin sheath, and there will be some more structures. You can see that Schwann cell. These cells are, single cells are called Schwann cells, and there will be some area which is having some construction which is called a node of Ranvier. That all details you will learn in higher classes like 11 and all. But simply one thing you have to remember, some axons, not in all neuron, in some neuron, these axons have a covering, right? So that covering, the sheath like covering is called a myelin sheath. What is the purpose of this myelin sheath? Actually, these nerve cells are meant for that transmitting nerve impulse, right? So that means हमने कोई भी गर्म चीज को touch किया है तो the nerve cells in our sense organ will sense that it is hot object and it will transmit the signals. So वो signals transmit करती है like electrical impulse, right? Nerve impulse बोलती है वो electrical signal जैसा transmit करती है. क्या करती है? The neuron here the signal will be reached, captured, that ना received by the dendrite. Dendrite से वो cell body के अंदर जाएगा. Cell body के अंदर से ये cyton that axon के अंदर से it will reach in the nerve endings. फिर नेक्स्ट न्यूरॉन आएगा, ऐसे ऐसे इट विल ट्रांसमिट, राइट. सो इलेक्ट्रिकल इम्पल्स की ट्रांसमिशन होती है. नॉर्मली जिस न्यूरॉन में हमारे ये माइलिन शीथ नहीं होती है, सो इट हैज टू कवर अ लार्ज डिस्टेंस. बट दोस न्यूरॉन्स हैविंग द माइलिन शीथ, उसको एक स्पेशलिटी है, इधर से डायरेक्टली द इम्पल्स विल जंप हियर. उसे एक कंस्ट्रक्शन है बीच बीच में. सो यू कैन सी हियर वी हैव टू डायरेक्टली क्रॉस. और आपने इधर एक व्हाट विल से पत्थर द स्टोन आप रखा है, एक और पत्थर उधर रखा है. सो यू विल जंप फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर. सो एक्चुअली द टाइम, राइट, एक्चुअली सो मच सेव. नाउ it will not cover, it will jump here, right, directly here. So the impulse transmission will be very easy and very fast. So that meant for that myelin sheath. No need to go in detail, but at least axon तक आपको class 9 level में समझना है, right? Now it will be, axon will be again branches into finer branches. That's called the nerve ending. Now one more thing, here you can see that axon हमने already बता दिया था, axon will be ending into so many fine branches called the nerve ending. So ये nerve ending दूसरी neuron की dendrite की उधर it can be, there will be another neurons dendrite will start from here. So here this junction between this nerve ending, one neuron की axon की, sorry, axon की portion, right, मान लो ये एक neuron है इधर, right, इसका axon, right, it will be ending in the nerve ending, this nerve ending and next neurons की dendrite की. So this junction is called synapse, synapse or synapse. The junction between one neuron's nerve ending and the other neuron's dendrite is called synapse, right? So this synapse is actually very important because from which that electrical impulse will transmit from one area to the another. So either say it will be transferred to the next neuron dendrite. So what is the junction called? It is called the synapse or that synaptic junction, right? So here this is all about the nervous tissue or neuron. I hope you have understand the basics of nervous tissue or neuron, the structure of neuron also in detail.